My most viewed video of all time is my carnivore bread recipe that I've linked down below in the description box, but one of the biggest requests I have gotten is for me to make bread a much easier thing to obtain on a keto, ketovore, or carnivore diet. So I did the work for you guys, and I have come up with what I think might be the easiest bread recipe that I could ever imagine. It's simple, it has few ingredients, it tastes amazing, and you're gonna be shocked at just how good this actually is when you see it come out. You guys stick around because today we're doing 90-second carnivore bread on Chris Cookin' Nashville. I promise you guys are going to probably be a little bit mind blown at how good this is when you see how simple this recipe is to put together. To be perfectly honest, when I came up with this idea of exactly how to do this, I wasn't sure that this would work. But we're gonna go ahead and throw this together because I was very pleasantly surprised when I decided to try this, that I was actually able to make it work. And not just make it work, but I think I may have made this even better than my original carnivore white bread recipe. This one is extremely tasty, and quite honestly, I would give this sort of a rating, something akin to a ciabatta bun or something of that nature. So it's really good. And because it comes together so fast, this is one of those recipes you're gonna be able to have in your back pocket, ready to go at a moment's notice. You can make it right before you go to work in the morning and take your carnivore bread, some lunch meat, whatever it is you like, and put together a proper human diet sandwich for yourself. Or there's actually gonna be a bunch of other ways I'm gonna show you guys how to use this as a bread substitute that's far beyond just the boring sandwich vibe. I'm gonna put everything on the screen that I am using, and of course the free recipe card for this will be on my website at chriscookingnashville.com. I will link both my website and the recipe card page of my website in the description box for you. So for all of the exact measurements, make sure to go over there to the website, check out that printable recipe card. I'm gonna blow your mind with how easy this is to make. All right, y'all, this recipe is so simple. It happens not only in 90 seconds, but it happens in one bowl. Let's take a look at our ingredients and talk about how we do this. So I'm going to link these silicone miniature cake molds down below for you guys. You're going to need something like this. We need to make sure we have room for it to rise, and you're gonna need silicone because this goes in the microwave. Now I know there's gonna be people out there that hate using the microwave. It's not my first go-to either, and if you've seen any of my previous videos, you probably think I have a hatred of the microwave, and I actually don't. I just don't find the microwave does a very good job of cooking things unless you're making 90-second carnivore bread. Now, if you want to know, can this be done in the oven? I'm working on experimenting with it to see if I can make it happen in the oven. I do not yet have a solution for you, so be patient with me. But in the meantime, I'm going to show you guys how this 90-second carnivore bread can come straight out of the microwave. Now, you could absolutely use some kind of a glass or stone dish. I find silicone is the easiest and nothing sticks in it. We also have large eggs, and I know all of you are saying, not another egg-based bread. I understand how you feel. I just don't personally like that flavor, so this is gonna be my solution to taking care of that egg flavor. I also have butter powder. I know a number of you have told me in some of the recent recipes that have used butter powder, you can't get it maybe if you live someplace where they don't sell it. You can replace it with more of the whey protein. Speaking of whey protein, I have some whey protein here. I'm going to link the one I'm using down below. It does have a tiny amount of sunflower lecithin, but if that's something you don't want to include in your proper human diet, that's totally fine. You can find other brands that do not have any sunflower lecithin, and I'll link one of those down there for you as well. So you can pick and choose. It is more expensive, but you can absolutely do that if that's important for you on your proper human diet. I also have beef gelatin. Any unflavored gelatin powder will work. We don't have starch and we don't have gluten, so we need something to approximate that in this bread. You can just use the cheap Knox gelatin from the store. That is pork-based, but you can use whatever kind of gelatin you want. I have 2 tablespoons of butter. That's gonna be melted. That butter butter is what's gonna help offset the chokiness of eggs that have been cooked to the texture of bread. If you do a lot of these bread recipes, you know, if you're not careful, they get very dry, catch in your throat really bad. This extra fat is going to offset that, gonna help this go down a lot smoother and stay a lot softer and more palatable as well. And this last thing is allulose. It is completely optional. You can use any other sweetener you want. You don't have to use any sweetener at all. It is a completely optional step. But if you go to the grocery store and you buy any kind of white bread product, generally they have a slight sweet flavor because they use sugar as a way to not only flavor those breads, but they also use that as a way to retain moisture because sugar has that action of retaining moisture inside of a bread product. If you guys don't know, I used to own a micro bakery before I knew about keto and carnivore, so I know bread inside and out, and sugar is a very common addition. So I'm gonna use a little bit of allulose just to get a slight hint of sweetness on the back end of the flavor of this bread. Helps it taste a little more like a real bread. One more thing that you can also add if you want is you can add in a couple of teaspoons of yeast, and that will give this even more of a bread flavor. It is completely optional. I'm actually gonna leave it out of this recipe today. So that's all of our ingredients. Now here's the best part of this. You guys ready for this? We're going to crack an egg into a bowl. I'm going to add melted butter and these powders. I'm going to use a whisk to whisk it all together until there are no clumps of anything left and it's nice and smooth. And then I'm going to cook it. That is as hard as this recipe gets. So let me show you how we whisk it all together, put it in a microwave, and in 90 seconds, we end up with carnivore bread. I poured the mixture from up high to make sure that no air bubbles are trapped underneath. If you want to double check and just make sure, just bounce the silicone mold a couple of times. Make sure any of those air bubbles have been removed. Now we go in the microwave. Incidentally, this is a really good example of why people ask me, can I use regular egg whites instead of egg white powder? And I always have to say no, because those work very differently. Regular egg whites, liquid egg whites, have water bound up in protein and it puffs when you cook it. Egg white powder does not. So in those recipes where I use egg white powder, that's the reason I have to use the egg white powder instead of liquid egg whites. You're gonna see just how much the puff makes a difference. That is a 90-second carnivore bun. Now it's still hot. You don't want to eat it right now because if you do, one, you're going to burn your mouth, but two, it's going to probably feel and taste a lot more like an egg. But once it sits here and the gelatin and those whey protein powder and butter powder and all of those ingredients work to absorb what's left of that moisture, when this cools to room temperature, it's going to turn into bread. And that is 90-second carnivore bread. And what's your favorite kind of sandwich?
A club.
What kind of sandwich do we have here?
A club.
A keto club for the keto lady.
I like it.
Now, if you guys are carnivore, don't put the lettuce and tomatoes on the club, okay? We all know that, but Ash is not carnivore. She's keto, so she likes her lettuce and her tomato on her clubs. She's gonna try this out for us. As you can see, the bread will toast. You can use a toaster, a broiler, however it is you would like to create toast. Give it a shot. Let them know what you think of the 90-second carnivore bread made into a club.
I like how you have like flame torch, but not a toast. Like, tell me you're carnivore, but don't. This looks amazing. Okay, thank you for making me an actual sandwich with like a bunch of meat.
Yes.
And a bunch of stuff. You're
She's a hungry lady. I know.
Listen, kind of interesting to only have it be 90 seconds. That's crazy to think about, but. Oh, wow. Wow. Hold on. I'm speechless. I think that this bread literally tastes like normal bread. This reminds me of a club sandwich that I would go get at a restaurant down the road. You remember? I think it was like once a week for a while. We would go to this particular restaurant and get it. This literally just tastes like bread to me. I think you can hand this to anyone, they wouldn't know the difference. I love your carnivore white bread recipe. By far the best carnivore bread recipe I think I've ever tasted. I think this is better. And the fact that you made it in 90 seconds, one bowl. I like how it has even like the little air pockets, like bread would. I mean, it's perfect.
I think it's a really cool recipe.
I think this may be the greatest thing you've ever made. Let's start there. This is a game changer. It truly is. What I like too is how quick it is, how easy, like you said. I mean, it takes a few minutes, but the flavor, the texture of this, perfect. I'm a fan, sir.
Yeah.
I'm a fan.
Well, guys, that's how you make 90-second carnivore bread. And there's gonna be a bunch more stuff I'm gonna try to figure out how to do with this. So you guys make sure to watch next week's video when that comes out, because I have a surprise that I've already worked out on how to make for you guys. And we're gonna use this recipe to make something else really cool. Thank you guys so much for your time just spent here. I hope you try this recipe, enjoy it. Go check out the free recipe card on the website for all of the amounts. While you're down in the description box, look for the link for the band, our private community. It is growing every day. We have amazing people in there, and we are offering extra recipes, behind the scenes content, support for your keto and carnivore journey, helping you along the proper human diet way with a family, a tribe that can help encourage you, because none of us needs to do this alone. We are not on an island. We are not in a vacuum. We have people that are there to support us, and that's what the band is all about. And we want to be in there and just helping you guys as much as we possibly can. So come check that out at the link in the description box. Everything else that I use that you'll need is in the description box down there, including those silicone molds that I made these with. Those work perfectly. While one is in the microwave, you're mixing up the next one, and you can just get a rhythm going. Make as many of these as you need to, and they're very simple. So thank you for watching. We love every single one of you. This is Chris Cook in Nashville. My beautiful wife, Ash Taylor, enjoying her club sandwich. You guys eat your meat now. 90-second carnivore bread. Crazy. Love your life. We're gonna see you here in the kitchen for a bunch more crazy recipes. Maybe some of them as quick as this one. You never know. And if you like 90-second carnivore buns and what they can do for your proper human diet lifestyle, you gotta go check out this recipe right over here.
Insane. Delicious. This is so good.